Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Alright, so this is your learning partner, Maan, checking in. So tonight we'll just have one exercise and that would be to find the solution set of an open sentence. So again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And this will be our open sentence. 3x squared minus 10x plus 3 is equal to 0. So first step, we will find the factors of the polynomial. So we can say that we'll be applying factoring to find the roots, to find the solution set for a polynomial. Okay, so let's have fun, let's play. Okay, let's work on this problem together. Okay, so the first one, please find the first term of the binomial factors. So how? We'll be investigating the equation and we'll be guided by these questions. So the first question, what is the numerical coefficient of the first term? Yes, that is 3. And what are the factor pairs or the factors of 3? So being a prime number, the factors of 3 are 3 and 1. So please note that the factors 3 and 1 for the first term of the trinomial will be the numerical coefficient for the first term of the binomial factors. Okay, let's spark that thought. Let us not forget first that x is a factor of the first term as well. So we need to write x first as the first in the first term of the binomial factors. And then we will now add the factors of 3. Okay, again, 3 being the number at the first term of the trinomial. And the factors of 3 are 3 and 1. So we're going to write 3 and 1. So our first term in the first binomial factor is 3x. And the first term of the second binomial factor is 1x. Simply put, 3x and x. Okay, let's move on. Next, please find the second terms of the binomial factors. So, how are we gonna know? How are we going to know what the numbers are? So here are the guide questions. So again, we will go back to the given. So what is the numerical coefficient of the last term? Or what is the number? Okay, so what is the number of the last term? So the number of the last term is 3. And what are the factors of 3? Okay, that's 3 and 1. So let's park that thought. The next thing that we need to investigate is the sign of the last term. What is the sign of the last term? It's positive. So the numbers in the second term of the binomial factors will have the same signs, either both negative or both positive. Okay, so which is which? Is it both negative or both positive? So our guide question will be, what is the sign of the middle term or the linear term? Okay, let's see. It's negative. We have negative 10. So look at here, negative 10. So since we have a negative sign for the middle term, then the sign of the numbers for the second term will be negative. Okay? And what will be the numbers? So here's our guide questions. The first one, what is the numerical coefficient or the number of the second term? Yes, it is negative 10, and its absolute value is 10. So our target sum for the products of the first term factor and the last term factor mappings will be 10. Next question, what is the number or the constant in the last term again? It's 3. So the factors of 3 are 3 and 1. So let's visualize the factors. So again, we will break down the factors or the number in the first term into factors. So the number in the first term is 3. So the factors is 3 and 1. And then break down also the number in the last term. It's 3. So the factors of 3 is 3, 1. So like this. So you can have like this in our scratch paper. Okay. And now let's have try and error. Okay. This is a non-successful trial. Okay. So again, we have the first term number 3. The factors are 3 and 1. And we have the last term number 3 and the factors 3 and 1. So for example, let's consider this position 3, 1 here. So we have this area here for the inner terms of the two binomial factors. And we also have the outer terms of the binomial factors. So let's multiply the inner terms. So 1 and 3 is 1 times 3 is 3. And then the outer terms, let's multiply them also. 3 times 1 is 3. Let's add up the products. So 3 plus 3 is 6 and not 10. So it's not successful. Why? Again, our target sum is 10. And why 10? Because the absolute value of the number in the middle term is, the number is negative 10. Its absolute value is 10. So that is our target sum. Okay, so in trying another arrangement, please just change the arrangement of the last term factors or the factors of the constant. Okay. So a while ago we had 3, 1. So we interchange the order, or we change the order into 1, 3. So this time for the inner terms, inner numbers, inner factors, we have 1 and 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. And now let's consider the outer factors, 3 and 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. And now let's sum them up. 1 plus 9 is 10. So we have a trial that is successful. Okay, let us now map what we have in our scratch pad into the notation of the binomial factors. We will draw now the binomial factors. So let's start with the outer terms. So here outer terms is 3 and 3. So we have here outer terms 3 and 3. Again, in one of the outer term, it is the first term of the binomial factor. So we need to add the x. And now this is for the inner terms. Okay, 1 and 1. And again, one of the outer factor, okay, will be the number of the first term of the binomial, diba? This is the first term. So we will add x. Now let's combine both the outer and inner terms. So outer terms, 3x and 3, there you go. And then inner terms, 1 and 1x, there we go. 1 and 1x. So we don't know the sign yet. But again, we have able to check a while ago that the sign of the middle term is negative. Okay, so the sign of the second term of the binomial factors will be negative. And that is consistent also when we check the sign of the constant term of the last term is positive. So it should be both negative. Okay, so negative 1 and then negative 3. All right, so we just discovered, we just discovered, yeah, the factors of 3x squared minus 10x plus 3. So the factors are 3x minus 1, and x minus 3. Okay, so step 3, we will equate or set each binomial factor to 0. Alright, so 3x minus 1 is equal to 0 and x minus 3 is equal to 0. Why? Please consider this. When we set the factor like 3x minus 1 to 0, the equation now will look like this. And yes, 0 times x minus 3 is equal to 0. So that would make our statement true. And on the other hand, when we set x minus 3 to 0, so it will now look like this. And 0 multiplied by 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. And the statement is also true. Okay, so it's time now to solve for x. So 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. So transfer negative 1 to the other side of the equation at the right side. And since the negative 1, okay, will cross over the negative sign, the equal sign, so the negative 1 will now be positive 1. And then we will get rid of the 3, the numerical coefficient 3. So divide both sides by 3. So x is equal to 1/3. And that is now one of the roots. Okay, and another solution set, another element of the solution set. So x minus 3 is equal to 0. So transfer negative 3 to the other side of the equation. The negative sign will become positive. So x minus 3. Okay, so we have to check our answers. We can validate by substitution. So simply substitute the value 1/3, okay, for the x. So that's why we have 3 1/3 squared minus 10 1/3 plus 3 equals 0. So we would distribute the equation 2 to both the numerator and denominator. Okay, so we have here 3 1 squared over 3 squared minus 10 over 3 plus 3. Okay, so we will now have 1/3 minus 10 over 3 plus 3. So we just have to multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of the common denominator 3. So we now have 1 minus 10 plus 9 equal to 0. And 0 is equal to 0. The same thing, okay, for the root x minus 3. By substitution, we can validate our answer. And another cool way of validating our answer is through Geogebra. Okay, so we will be using calculator. Okay, calculator suite. Alright, and then just input the equation 3x, okay, and then squared minus 10x plus 3. Okay, so there's the graph there. And then let's go to tools, select the graph, and then roots, and then select the graph. Ayan, okay. And we have here the root, all right, 0.3, or that will be 1/3. The x is 1/3, and the y is 0. And the other root, x is 3, and the y is 0. So again, all right, the roots, the definition of roots. So basically, we are finding the values of x in order to get a value of y. To get a y equal to 0. So as you can see, the point, okay, the points are 0.30 and 30. So the y coordinate are 0. All right. So in other words, where can we have the intersection at the x-axis? Okay, at what point of x, okay, does the graph intersects at the x-axis? Okay, so thank you so much for hanging out for 15 minutes. Okay, I'll see you all in my next vlog. Bye now.